Hello. So I'm gonna do just a very basic card pull. I do not want this video to be very long, but I'm guided to share about something in particular that's just gonna be intensifying as we get into June. And so this part of the message is for empathic people, empaths, and people who resonate with the term highly sensitive person, neurodivergent, I don't know, but in a spiritual way. So what it is that I've been feeling, processing, is basically like there's a palpable discomfort as certain things start to move through the collective, and this is going to be, like I said before, it's going to be intensifying and sort of reaching a breaking point in June. And I think that what I've been identifying, what I've been feeling in my body when I go out, when I interact with people, when I do things, here it is. It's over here. It's over here. Go get it. You gotta go get it. You can't go this way. Blind dog is gonna walk over the stage. You can go this way though. There you go. It's over there. Found it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna start the video over just yet. But basically, it's almost as if I have been in this mood or in this feeling in my body. It hits all the chakras differently. I've been feeling it in the root, in the solar plexus, sacral, but there's a different sensation and a different layer to what is going to be, what it is and what is going to continue to be moving through the collective so that it can be cleared out. And it's like, I'm seeing visuals about something that happens to me if I succeed in quitting smoking for any amount of time. My face will break out basically immediately because I feel like my body is trying to kind of like get all these toxins out of my system. It's one of the ways that it does that. So the visual that I got was stuff coming out of pores. And it's like there's a lot of under the surface shit that's being purged out of our entire collective subconscious. And I don't think it's going to be a super delicate process. And I do think that the people who are able to do this kind of transmutation are going to be really, really, really feeling it. It's not the most comfortable, but as often as I can, I've been stretching a lot because I can't get through a single day recently without taking on something that is not mine in my body. And I'm saying it that way on purpose because I think other people are going to be experiencing this. But once you get more familiar with the way that actually, where the line is drawn, then you know that you need to be regularly clearing yourself. Sorry about the squeaking. I just can't possibly ask him to stop. It happens a lot more rapidly wherein you're finding or identifying or feeling that there's a block, and instead of just, subconsciously letting that tip your behavior into an unfavorable expression, you're releasing it, going back to the heart, operating from, and I'm seeing this beautiful big open hallway. Actually, what it looks like is the Chamber of Secrets from the second Harry Potter movie, where it's like that vaulted, or like it's like a domey arch type of thing, but like this huge hallway, okay? It's like a chamber, and it's lined with emeralds that are sparkly. It was 333 when I saw the clock. Like the chamber of the heart, okay? And the reason why I saw that is because it's supposed to be open. It's supposed to be a big space where a lot of energy resides. This is like your center, and this is a powerful place that can, unite the upper and the lower chakras, as well as the solar plexus, the heart, the solar plexus. But the heart in particular for me is like the crown and the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus. It's like this central crux of our core. And I'm also tapping my solar plexus, but you can't see. So like, for instance, the way that I'm handling it, and I just touched on this, but like I can't get enough of stretching. I just completed my floor time. I joke about that, but it's very real. If I'm left to my own devices and I'm just like hanging out, doing things, I've got, things to do, and I entertain myself in my own home, but much of the time I'm just on the floor, stretching or doing little exercises. Like my body is speaking to me. My body is really explaining to me where the energy is stuck through different types of like aches and sensations that I don't want to tolerate. And so taking the time to sit with them, and I'm doing stretches that nobody even taught me. I'm doing weird things. on the ground, just because it's intuitively led and it's what my body is telling me that I need to do. And all that looks like is like, I move in the way that feels good. And it's helping me to remain somewhat grounded, It's so important to stay grounded if you're a sensitive person. And the people, like that full moon was really hard for me in terms of collective transmutation. And then what we're getting into is just going to feel really intense. And so another thing that I want to just point out is that I think that in these times, right, we're all looking for, and I see like a shipwrecked sea straggler. This is a vision that I get a lot. Like somebody like pulling their aching body up onto the sands of the shore because they've been swimming and they were just lost at sea. We're all like trying to crash onto the shore. We're trying to reach some type of plateau where we can rest. And I talked about plateaus a while back because we were hitting these plateaus and then things would uptick again and then plateau. But since the eclipse, we're just on a big, and that's going to continue. And so what it's doing to people, and I'm just like needing to twist, what that's doing is that it's training people to engage the mindfulness to not look for that next resting place, because then you're still operating within the matrix because you're operating within time and space rather than the creative 0 point that lives within inside you. And how I can like translate that, right, is you have to become comfortable with that never arriving. You have to be able to deliver to yourself in the present moment some kind of navigability, emotionally, energetically, that gives you the sensation of the plateau. And it feels impossible. It's going to feel impossible for a lot of people, but that's only because they haven't let go of the things that do not serve them to bring in more of the things that do serve them. So like, examples of this, I'm highly unavailable right now. Obviously, I see the people who I love and I make time for the people that matter to me. But other than that, I'm highly unavailable because I simply don't have time. I don't have the energetic, I don't have it in me to just be, it affects me too much. I'm too sensitive right now to just go out or do things that I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I want to make sure that I'm like top to bottom on top of what's going into my body as far as like content, as far as food, as far as information. If I'm around people, I don't want to partake in like any type of like petty gossip or that kind of conversation. These kinds of boundaries, right? Like tightening up the ship and making sure that everything that I am moving forward with is truly aligned in a space of integrity that comes from my higher self. I'm like trying to snuff out these little tantrumy fires that like the ego version of Mariah keeps setting, where it's like, oh, like, no, I don't want to give up this. I don't want to do that. And here's the other thing. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to give up something or change your ways. You listen to you. If you don't want to do something, there's a reason why you're still doing it. Don't let somebody tell you about right and wrong. That's the path to your learning. So, go ahead and do it until you learn the lesson. It'll probably happen at some point. If it never does, that's not your path, and then we have our free will to be like, what, I do want to learn this lesson. I'm going to put in an effort to make a change. But again, that still comes from you. And it's also worth noting that not every change is for everybody. I think I have to treat myself differently than, the next person treats themselves. We're all different. Maybe not everybody needs so much floor time these days, but if you're not feeling good in your body, or you're feeling like things are a little bit different, however that may be, like digestion, energy level, all of that, maybe your intuition isn't telling you where to go as far as the solution, but I'm saying that movement could be the answer, right? Even if you're not guided to stretch intuitively. It's all right, honey bunny. He doesn't like the thunder. All of these things like are worth reassessing. Even if you do something and it's always suited you, the energy is completely different. Things that have always suited us may not anymore. And those are the types of things that reside in the general public's blind spot because they've never even considered doing certain things differently. Because it's how it's always been done, or it's because it's how everybody else does it. And so I'm just putting this out there because I believe that the people that can start to take their own private healing and private boundaries and that sense of being able to be like, I consider it a civic duty to take time out and restore myself, because if I don't and I'm out there in the world, then I'm not really a good person, honestly. Like I can be, if I'm not, I just owe it to myself and the people that I encounter to be recharged and rested. It's the difference between me being like, yeah, sure, you can merge, and like, not today, asshole. And I don't want to be that person, right? And I know why I get to that point. And in these energies, it's a little bit unavoidable. There's some definite Murphy's Law lawing and just like some interesting astrological placements that I actually have to refresh my memory on before I go into explaining all of that, because I don't want to make an error. But what I do know is that Jupiter moved into Gemini on the 25th. That's going to be the case for a while now, which is, we like that. Expansive, big fixtures of our lives changing. However, Gemini isn't the most grounded sign, right? It's sort of like this fast moving, lots of communication. And then, oh gosh, what was it? I don't remember the exact transits, but the idea is that moving into June here, end of May, moving into June, it's a little bit like, just expect for people, if you have to do any type of coordination or something, expect for a little bit to maybe go wrong. Just stay even keel throughout that. Let it happen. Don't be activated or triggered by that. Let it be what it is, right? God grant me the courage to Serenity Prayer style. All right, that's my rambling intro. Okay, well, actually, no. I'm gonna wrap that up because I'm being reminded that I didn't fully finish the thing about time. So I think that a lot of people, we're getting to a breaking point. A lot of people's mental health and physical health is going to start to suffer if it has not already. The way that we're living is not sustainable. The influx of the solar flares and the heightened energy that we've been experiencing since the eclipse has taken that and like spooked us, sponked, like, catapulted us into, like 15 years into the future. We've been just like hurtling through our own evolution as we sort of like switch train tracks and sort of migrate collectively to the timeline that suits humanity. And I shared this back then, but after the eclipse, we did successfully commit to the higher timeline as far as the probabilities that have been floating throughout the quantum field of interconnectedness. And nothing's ever set in stone. We all collectively manifest what it is we're experiencing together. And so the collective manifestation, if a lot of people are feeling out of control and feeling like they're suffering and not feeling like their needs are being met, that is what they're going to be focusing on. And that is what the collective is going to be manifesting. And so the more we can, I do this and I have done this for years. It's incredibly helpful. Like if you are struggling in a certain way, you just bring it back to the present moment and hierarchy of needs, like literally, like, are your needs met? Because a lot of the time we're thinking about a need or a thing that we're going to have to address in the future, but it doesn't affect our lives right now. This is also kind of like the disgustingness with like billionaires. Like it's just technically more money than you're ever going to be able to spend in your whole life. And it doesn't do anything, right? It just sits there until they spend it and turn it into something. It's the movement of energy, which is why the way that the world is with like these, people in a certain space within society, like hoarding this wealth, that's why it's a gluttonous sin. Limited supply, right, is an illusion. It's not the way this is supposed to go. All right. I'm gonna use the psychic tarot to get kind of like the main energy, and I'm gonna wrap this up by 20 minutes. I know that the video's already been posted, so you can see if I'm lying to myself, but I'm optimistic that I can get the card reading out in 6 minutes. Let's see. Current energy, energy to embrace, energy to release, biggest obstacle, hidden energy, and advice. That's 6 cards. I'll do 6 cards, and then I shuffled this. I'll get 4 Ascended Masters, 1 Rebel deck, because I feel like 0 filter, 0 fucks, all fun. That's the energy lately. Hi, sweet. Remember how to climb up your little staircase? You can do it. You can do it. Go ahead. Very good. I bought him a tiny staircase because he can't see anymore. All right, current energy. I'm also, I wouldn't like to abandon my YouTube channel, but when I am like offline for days on end, I don't even have that many people that watch, so I don't feel like the stakes are very high as far as like not showing up for people. I'm always here. You can always email me, but then, my viewership is incredibly small, and it's just like I need to do what I need to do. I intend throughout June to be a little bit more sporadic just based on what is coming. And I'm just putting that out there. I'll be a little bit more active in my own stuff and kind of like turning the attention inward. My guides are also like, this is all good and fun. I am meant to be a speaker in some regard and teach people things and all of that. And I've been warming up ever since June of 2023. But I have to make a bunch of artwork, and I only have so much free time, and I really have to spend some time cranking out some pieces here. So that's another reason why I'm going to be offline for just a little bit more than I used to. Okay, I'm gonna take both of these as current energy because they came out together. Spiritual union, 2 of Cups, and material and spiritual prosperity, 6 of Pentacles. That's really nice. That's really nice. It makes me think about the heart chakra again and the solar plexus. Like, what's interesting is that he's looking out, right? We have a mirroring thing going on. He's on his own here, but there's 2 and there's 2 and sort of like this whoosh and that whoosh and this whoosh and that whoosh. And then this big yellow sun, that makes me think of the solar plexus. And then this is obviously sort of a heart chakra card. So right there, that like stable trunk, feel into that in order to ground yourself right now. But also don't forget to, what's very interesting is how easy it is to ground yourself if you physically go outside. Like the conscious Mother Earth, the energies of the earth, the elemental energies, we're getting a serious upgrade to the way that elemental energies can actually come into our physical 3D reality because of our increases. So we're able to kind of see and interact with them in a new way. I'm talking like all different kinds of elemental energies. I'll talk about that later. It's very easy though to feel very like maybe really untethered, really ungrounded, and what would have taken me a long time to kind of like come down from, like maybe like a day to like fully reground, spending time in nature, it can happen very quickly now, which is great. So our current energy is spiritual union, material, and spiritual prosperity. What's the energy to embrace? Okay, this is what I was told before I started doing this. They said, don't shuffle them out, just pull them off the top. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to do that now instead. But this stands. Current energy, energy to embrace. The throat chakra. It's true. Think about, so if you need help with your throat chakra, actually consume blue, naturally blue foods, blueberries, right? Wear blue. Surround yourself with blue to help clear your ability to authentically express yourself naturally. There's really something to that. It's the same reason why earth and the energy is green, right? Or like if you're working with the sacral chakra, you'd be consuming like oranges, orange foods, different things like that. Red, it's red foods. Extending that to crystals like lapis lazuli, blue lace agate. Excuse me. What's the energy to release? Interesting. It's the Strength card. Power. Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to say about this message is that there's something that's destabilizing, and it's like everybody, I'm seeing a page card, like a little Page of Swords cards. It's like a stepping into a new, whenever you're at the top, you graduate, like going from 8th grade to high school or from senior year to freshman year in college, you enter at a new beginner's level. And like with what I'm talking about with the increases, it's like that's happening so fast. And I'm seeing like Rubik's Cube, right? What if it's going so fast that there's no catching up? What happens then? We live in an eternal now where I'm going to get way too ahead of myself. So let me just dial it back to, because this card is also representative of taming the ego and being able to have a feminine and a masculine polarity that are balanced within yourself for however you are and however you express yourself. Some people are more dominant in one than they are the other. Some people are fairly evenly balanced. Some people pretend to be heavily dominant in one over the other, yet they're just wounded and they haven't actually addressed the other polarity within themselves. And so there's something also, within this where it's like the gradient in the background, red to purple. This is crown chakra. This is base chakra. And it's what I said before in the beginning of the video, top to bottom, bottom to top. You want for everything that you are focusing your time and energy on right now to really be something that you're serious about, right? Like if you knew that you were writing checks and like submitting orders and you were going to get it back, it's all coming back to you. That's very real, and it's just quickening. It's never been more real. It's just going to continue getting more real. I think that a lot of people would change what it is that they're putting out, right? And I'm so challenged to do this sometimes when I'm like exhausted or my patience is wearing thin, like treating somebody exactly like a different version of me who may not, it's like if I didn't know something, I would act that way. Or if I had been through something, I might act that way. And having just that deep, unending well of compassion within you to be able to, respect yourself and advocate for yourself and speak what it is that's true for you on your mind. But also, allow for people to be how they are and not need to force change upon people unnecessarily. So there's a different, we're not power. What I'm getting in the release position is it's more about just kind of acceptance with the fact that we might not feel as powerful as we have, or we're needing to go through some of these like ego tempering lessons again. The best advice is to get on board with that and start to see it as fun. Start to engage with life as a game where you have a avatar and you're creating it. And the energy of, it becomes pretty easy when you understand that all you have to do is stay in the present moment and pay attention. And then whatever happens, it was 222. Whatever happens as a result of that, if you're listening to your intuition, if you're not able to just do as you want and say what's on your mind, examine that and figure out why, and figure out what within you isn't able to, be your true self still. All right, what's the hidden? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to do hidden energy and then biggest obstacle and then advice. So the hidden energy, fulfillment of wishes. It's the Nine of Pentacles. I think that despite appearances, we're incredibly close to something incredibly beautiful. And I say that to nobody, on the internet. But it's a collective energy. And I know that if people feel it, they feel it because you're watching this video because you've been enacting changes within your life for a while. So also don't lose hope, right? Because the way that we respond in challenging circumstances is the way that we exit them, navigate them. Doesn't mean that challenging circumstances aren't a big challenge. And what I tend to find in my life is that the more resilient I get, the tougher things are. That's not necessarily true. It's water off of a duck's back. It kind of doesn't matter the toughness of a challenge, right? How something affects you and the things that we're not in control of that just happen in our lives, to tolerate the fact that is life, those unforeseen obstacles that can kind of just crop up, that is life. And so collectively we're entering sort of I don't want to use the word wormhole again, but some type of, because it's not a wormhole, it's just going to be there's too many visions and I don't like any of them, so I'm not going to talk about it. But really, we're at the beginning of something pretty intense. We've been in the beginning. These timelines and these passages are long, We've been in the beginning. It's not going to, this is the next decade, right? There's so much changing and so much still undefined and undetermined as far as when it's really going to touch down and take shape here in the physical to affect the way that we've been living our lives as a people. But if at any point along the way, right, you're allowing yourself to become conquered by that, At whatever point along the way, you're like, all right, life, you've done it. It's too much. I give up. Then you just rock your vibration out of alignment with this, but it's an illusion, right? You don't know. This is kind of one of those classic things that they say, like you've done so much, and what you don't know is that there's just a little bit left, and then you'll be there, right? But we don't operate on that system of reward and stick and carrot. We do it because what we're doing, we like to do it, right? We're not doing it to get some type of reward. Of course, there's a value system. We want to put work into things that are rewarding for us. But again, it's like a really fine line there, because a lot of people, we can only manifest from the point of healing that we've come to. Because of that, a lot of people think that they are, this is the whole like pseudo spiritual community. They think that they're manifesting, but really they're still very much in their ego and they just want things. That's different. But this message isn't for those people. This is just kind of like a hang on, you're almost there. Because that's the hidden energy. The biggest obstacle. That's fascinating to me. Is this the sun or the star? I can never remember. This is the star card. 19 is the sun. I get these two confused in this deck all the time, so I'm sorry for that. But think about what I just said, hope. Look at this card. Look at that, all that beautiful solar plexus energy. Look at how this being is being reborn in the light. Reborn. Completely bathed head to toe in a new frequency. That's what's happening to us. I said it like last week or the week before, but for me, when we get these multiple back-to-back solar storms, it feels like we're being microwaved. It's so incredibly intense, and it's just fascinating that the news is like talking about freaking Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's marriage. I literally could not care less. That is just, it's all PR. It's all fake. So fake. And I want to make, like, I don't know if it's going to be a poem or some type of art piece. I started a piece of art in 2020 that just continues to become more relevant, and I know I need to finish it, but like something about the record of the way that information is being circulated on the web, like the amount of content that I have to work with to put something together, who knows? The biggest obstacle though, right? Just getting back to this, is allowing yourself to, it's like, there's also something coming up. Okay, I'm getting a message about like a ship in the harbor isn't safe, but that's not what ships are for. It might seem right now like it's not a very good time to make changes in a person's life that feel sort of like out of comfort zone. But contrarily, you might be really guided to be making these changes ahead of some stuff that's going to be changing in the next 6 months, that you'd be really happy if you made these changes right now. And sometimes I think people are struggling with that a little bit, because it's like, well, I wouldn't go do that. Like, not right now. I have all this. And it's like, what? That's, if we, like, maybe there are certain things that are not going to matter in the future as much as they matter now. I don't want to get into that as much, but it's a leap of faith card, I feel. Like the biggest obstacle. Again, the yellow and the green, the heart and the solar plexus continue to be themes in like most of the cards that have come out. So what's the advice? Suffering in silence. Okay. The advice from this morning was also a number 9, but it was the major arcana. It was the Hermit. This is the 9 of Swords. This is definitely, it's a regret card. It's sort of like it's being out on your own, right? And having to process what it is that you fear. And I think that because it was the Hermit card for advice this morning, and I just can't emphasize enough how much I think that, I personally know that I'm very, very sensitive, right? So I need more alone time than the average person, but I'm just like listening to people do things and go places and make all these plans and travel and spend time with people and go out, and I can't even fathom. I would be a miserable person if I was running on that schedule right now, because I already feel like I'm doing all that. The energy is making me feel that way. The things that I'm picking up on in other people when I go out and about drains me. I don't have to do that much. And then I'm like, sorry, I need to be alone. I need to rest and recalibrate. And don't let anybody look at you and be like, but you didn't even do anything. I don't care. Whatever I did, I need to recalibrate now. And that's okay. And you can be, you know, kind and like soft in the establishing of that boundary, but you know, you're allowed to have it. So there's something about whatever, there's also a message coming in about like loneliness, suffering in silence. And then the blue on this card is bringing me back to this card. If there's something that needs to be unearthed as far as like something that lives inside of you that you want to get out, you don't have to necessarily speak it. There can be throat chakra clearing done through the written word. My guys are saying, no, they should speak it. There's something for the people that are watching this message that is about speaking your truth, okay? And potentially suffering in silence is going to give you the answers that you need right now to be able to express yourself on a certain matter or just in general. I think too, and I always think about this, it's something that I personally have a hard time not tipping into like worry about or like fear. You know, fear is not real. We can choose to project a more favorable outcome with the things that we do acknowledge as being possible. But I talked about this months ago, maybe this was even last year, but like people who are sort of at this coming of age time in their teens, in a world like this, like deeply intelligent, deeply gifted, they have this unique perspective that people my age, people 10 years older, 20 years older than me cannot see, simply don't have, because you don't know what it's like to have grown up in the world that they've grown up in. Different world, different perspective, different insight. And they're positioned at this point where they're, you know, like there's this huge death that occurs within the mind of teenagers where they're, you know, grappling with a lot. And I don't think a lot of them are empowered to share what it is that they're feeling and thinking about. And I want them to be able to, right? But that's not just for young teenagers. I got full body goosebumps when I said that. So if you do, maybe somebody has a child too, or you can't see them, but they're there. Just to encourage them that it's okay to speak their truth. You know, it's okay for them to say what's on their mind. The worst thing that we could do to a child is make them feel like they're not safe to express themselves. In my opinion, that's not true. That's not the worst thing, but it's one, you know, it's up there as far as like scarring kids for an extended period of time, really, or making an impact. Okay, and then I said I was going to get 4 of these. 2, 3, 4. This is the energy that is the most helpful at this time in case you want to call upon the energy of ascended masters to come in and help you. Serapis Bey, Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. See? Wow. Egyptian theme. Horus. Cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. Exactly. What you don't see, all the hope you've ever managed to maintain within yourself is paying off. Holding that within yourself, whether or not it's spoken, whether or not it's validated yet, right, does something. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. This is reiterating what I said earlier about the fact that, you know, take really seriously what it is you're ordering at the restaurant, what it is you're emanating. Bridget, inner strength, move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. This is definitely like, again, with grounding, ensuring that your energy stays with you. Your energy stays with you. My energy stays with me. The energy of the people around you stays with them. And then Green Tara, supreme protection. You are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation, and trust. I literally love this so much because I have a magnificent Green Tara piece of artwork over there on the wall. And I was talking to it the other day. And then our no bullshit card from this deck. I didn't do too bad, 34 minutes. Okay, this one I will shuffle out. I'm being asked to shuffle this now. Whoa, that just won't do. That just won't do. It's too many. I'm going on a road trip. I'm leaving on Thursday and I'll be back on Monday. But I'll probably take my cards and I'll probably record a reading or two over the weekend. Okay, you need a big fucking hug. And then this one I don't really like, but I'm just gonna share it because it came out. You think someone is lying, they are. Just to extend it beyond being such a specific message, I mean, it did come out of a big deck, so take that as you will and use your discernment to make that mean something in your personal situations. What I think, all right, this is the other thing from the intro that I didn't get out. The world right now, the ethers, the way that things are feeling day to day, the way that technology is showing people things through their phones, all of this. It's a discernment sandstorm right now. I think about being at Burning Man. I only went to Burning Man one time. It was in 2019. But if you've been to Burning Man, you know that it's not just like some hippie like music festival. Like it's an extreme survival of the elements type of thing. And like I remember arriving to like set up camp. It was like 3 a.m. You had to put like, and the whole steampunk aesthetic, there's a purpose to that. You will damage yourself if you don't have, their dust storm can happen at any point in time. Okay. And we were trying to set up this tent, but that's what's happening with discernment as far as activity and just arrows flying left and right, these different things coming in to cloud your clarity and try to hijack people's intuitions. Do not let that happen to you. You have the answer. But that could also apply to, the card saying someone's lying or you think somebody's lying and they are. It's just letting you know that you can trust your intuition. But these things that we're compelled to do. Okay. All right. I'll say, I'm almost done. This is my last message and then I'm going to go. There's something around discernment. I'm just going to share this. I don't think I would share it if it wasn't collective. Okay. It's like when you're mobilized to do something and you feel, any type of tightness in your body, like say you thought that something was true and then somebody came and told you this, excuse me, and it changes what you want to do. And all of a sudden you were going to go do this, but then you decided to go do that. But the feeling that you have inside your body when you make that change is tense or tight, or in some way, like, this could even be elevated heart rate or different types of signifiers of like stress, really, even if it's a good thing, right? You got news. That sensation in the body, your body doesn't lie to you. Your body is what processes the energy via your energy field through what you don't see that surrounds you and translates it to you. So the bodily sensation and the way that the mind is processing information, it may not line up, but who's lying? The mind. Always. The body can't lie. So that's just a tip really around, and I'm not gonna get into this, but I've even been tested recently with my intuition as far as knowing what it is I'm receiving in terms of information and making sure that I'm only, truly connected and protected to the highest beings of love and light, and just staying very secure within that space. And I haven't said that in 3 years. I haven't felt this way in 3 years as far as needing to be like incredibly strict on my energetic clearing and spiritual hygiene. And again, not everybody, yeah, no more disclaimers. Do it. Clear your energy. Everybody. Okay, I'm exhausted. I even brought 2 more decks here to do this, but it's just not happening. And that's fine, you know? Last thing I'll say, which I've probably said 5,000 times, is that just let yourself be. Accept yourself. Be easy on yourself. Everything always gets 10 times worse when you're beating yourself up for not being where you should be or how you should be. Ow. Literally, no matter what, if you accept yourself in the present moment, you're opening a door for change to take place. It is what it is. It happened. Now what? Type style. Or this isn't what I want, but I will find a way through immediately. Just be on your own team. Everybody is just out here doing their best. Nobody has all the answers. If somebody tries to tell you that they do, they are lying, or they do not realize it, right? People's ignorance or people's serious levels of indoctrinated education about the way that things are or the way that things should be is what keeps them blind. And it's what the Matrix reality has relied on to operate it for so long, is getting everybody just so darn educated and informed about how things work and how things are and why that is. So, you know, just question stuff and stay open-minded and trust the way that things are making you feel in your body. And with that, I hope that everybody has a really good night and take care of yourself, stay hydrated, have some floor time, get some stretches in.